More chat. Movie night, you promised. Is it movie night tonight? You guys want movie night tonight? Are you sure? Could do movie night tonight. So what is movie night? You guys don't know? Okay, we have some new frogs here. Movie night is just movie recap. I'll put myself in just chatting. Movie nights is just movie recaps. But they're good. Story recap. I think this channel is dead, right? This channel is like dead. I think the new one is called something else. What was the new one called? It was called Mystery Recap, right? Mystery Recap. Let's watch a mystery recap or two.
Hi.
Probably just one. In 2077, The Destruction of the Moon, and I've watched that one recently, I think.
We love you, your beautiful beard, your wonderful Venor game, and your top-tier MMR hemorrhage.
200 IQ man has a hobby escaping the toughest prisons on Earth. That sounds like something very relatable for me. Let's watch this one.
Keep the good work up, man.
Thanks, Dark Knight Geary. Captain Nemo with the 2 months. That Thanos, thanks, man.
Hi.
Swag Daddy.
Mystery Recapped here. Today, I am going to explain
Tireless Wizard, Mega Christ, Zimbabwean Guy, Docs, Pajama Buttons, Baboon,
prison
Wailing,
action
SG,
thriller
thanks for the
film
subs, guys.
called Escape Plan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out.
Sylvester
And take
Stallone is
care.
200 IQ? Come on. No offense to the guy, but...
The movie starts in a high-security federal prison in Colorado. An inmate named Ray Breslin is approached by a fellow inmate who warns him about someone named Jax. According to him, Jax is about to start a fight with Ray. The next day, like the inmate had said, Jax attacks Ray, but is soon overpowered by him. Ray wins the fight, but because of the commotion, the prison guards put him into the isolation area of the prison. It is a high-security area that only the dangerous inmates are brought into. Ray is then put into a tiny room with no windows and only a toilet. He is also watched upon at all times through a security camera. The only possession he is allowed to have is a Bible. Ray quickly begins to devise a plan to escape from the prison. He has already analyzed the layout of the prison and found that the high security area is beside the fire garage. Next, he notices that the prison is short on guards, which makes his work easier. For several days, Ray watches the guards and figures out their regular behavioral pattern, including going out to smoke for exactly 7 minutes. With these pieces of information, Ray figures out what time and way would be the best to escape from. Now, he only has to find a way to somehow get the passcode to his high-security prison door. For this, he tears a thin layer of plastic from the chocolate milk packaging that he is given with every meal. He sneakily lays the plastic on the touchpad and acquires the series of numbers of the passcode. With the numbers in hand, it is easy for him to figure out the sequence. He also manages to inform his team outside the prison to create a distraction at exactly 4 on the day he will escape. Finally, he executes the plan one day. As the guards go for a smoke break, he uses the passcode to get out of the cell. Then, through a vent, he enters the unguarded fire garage. At this moment, his team causes a fire outside the prison as a distraction. The firemen take the fire brigade outside, and Ray manages to go out with them by latching himself to the bottom of the vehicle. After finally getting out of prison, Ray drives away with his teammates, Abigail and Hush. They leave him by the side of a telephone booth, where the police eventually find and arrest him. However, before they can take Ray back to the prison, a man named Lester Clark arrives at the scene and talks to the guards to let Ray go. In the following scene, we see Lester and Ray talk to the prison head. It is finally revealed that Ray is actually the founder of a security firm called Breslin Clark that tests the security measures of prisons. He is not a criminal, but a businessman who goes to several prisons as an inmate to check if they are escape-proof. Over the years, he has garnered a reputation as the man who can escape any prison. The prison guard is beyond surprised and thankful for Ray's feedback on how they can make the prison's security better. After the meeting, Ray goes to his office for the first time in 5 months. He solves the world's dumbest computer problem and impresses his friend. His business partner, Lester, has scheduled a meeting with CIA operative Jessica Miller. She wants Ray to test a new top-secret prison for disappeared persons, on the condition that Ray and his team cannot know the prison's true location. She offers him millions of dollars for the deal, but Ray is skeptical of the idea. He only agrees to go when his partner Lester requests it of him. They provide him with a fake identity of a Spanish terrorist for hire named Anthony Portos. On the day he is supposed to go to the prison, Abigail places a tracker in his arm, as per
The
protocol.
5G.
However, things start going south when he is kidnapped and drugged to be put in prison, so its location remains anonymous. His abductors also painfully remove the tracker from his arm, as Ray loses consciousness. When he wakes up, Ray finds himself in a glass cell on top of a platform. Around him are several similar cells, with prisoners in them. They are
Kinda
being
cool,
watched through moving cameras. Ray is then brought to meet the prison warden, Hobbs, who introduces himself. Ray is confused because he was told the prison warden is a person named Marsh. Knowing something is off, Ray cites his evaluation code, which is supposed to get him out of the prison in case of an emergency. However, the warden completely ignores it and declares him an inmate. Outside the prison, Abigail and Hush try their best to find Ray's location. While back in the prison, the inmates are told to evacuate to the Babylon area. The guards all wear identical masks and are allowed to hit any inmate they dislike. A while later, Ray is approached by another inmate named Emil, who warns him to not get killed. Thanks, Emil. He also says that he hasn't committed any crime, and was simply imprisoned because some people want to get the information about his boss, Mannheim, from him. Ray now starts to believe that this prison doesn't hold federal criminals, but is a torture chamber that rich people send their enemies to. He plans to investigate further in the isolation area. So, Ray and Emil start a fight in order to be sent there. The warden sees this from the cameras and is almost excited to have them fighting. And who wouldn't be? This is like history's greatest WWE match. Soon, they are sent to the isolation area, which is a tiny room and substitute for a torture chamber. The room acts like an oven with a temperature higher than a human being can handle.
That's fucked
It is
up.
intended to disorient and dehydrate prisoners with high-powered halogen lights. The warden watches the two suffer in the heat through the cameras. After a day in the chamber, a prison doctor named Dr. Kyrie visits Ray. He seems sympathetic to him, but doesn't answer when Ray asks him their location. After the session, Emil and Ray are let out of the room. During his time in the chamber, Ray has found out that the cell floors have rivets of steel instead of more secure aluminum. So, he asks Emil to acquire a metal plate that he can use to open the rivets. On Emil's next meeting with the warden, he is asked about his boss, Mannheim, again. Emil deliberately makes the warden mad, and guards forcefully shove a water pipe down his throat. While he is being tortured, Emil manages to get a piece of metal. After the meeting, he demands to know Ray's plan in turn for the favor. Ray reveals that he has been analyzing the structure of the prison and has come to a conclusion that the place is underground. So, if he gets the bolts out and makes his way upward, he might be able to reach the surface. After hearing his plan, Emil believes that Ray can help him escape. They quickly execute the plan and start a fight to be sent back to the isolation chamber. There, Ray begins to open the rivet while hiding from the camera. After he is done, he bangs the chamber to signal Emil to distract the guards again. Emil starts to scream, making everyone look at him, while Ray blocks his camera with a paper ball he had in his mouth. He finally gets into the vent and makes his way outside.
He vents it again.
On his way, he accidentally breaks a pipe, causing the chamber to fill with water. When Ray finally gets outside, he is surprised to see that the prison is in a massive cargo ship in the middle of the ocean. He quickly goes back in before anyone can see him. The water leak causes the isolation chambers to flood, which distracts the guards and makes it easy for him to get back without being caught. In the following scene, we see Ray's friends, Abigail and Hush, talk to Lester about Ray's disappearance. They see that the check Ray had been provided for his work had bounced. Moreover, the woman who offered Ray the job is out of contact. They ask Lester to run a search, but the man dismisses them, claiming that Ray is doing his job. After the two leave, we see Lester calling the prison warden and asking him to keep Ray in the prison for the rest of his life. In one of Hollywood's greatest twists, it turns out that Lester is greedy and wants to have the company to himself and be its sole owner. So, he had to set up the fake deal to get Ray to the prison and keep him there forever. However, Abigail and Hush do not give up and keep looking for Ray.
50 cents?
Hush finds out about an illegal private-owned prison named The Tomb that people put their enemies in. It is in fact the prison that Ray is in, but Hush can't find the prison's location. Back in the prison, Ray and Emil start to analyze the guards' routine, which is difficult for them because the guards all wear identical masks. They do this for several days and figure out some important details about their schedule. Now, they have to figure out what part of the world they are in so they can devise an escape plan. For this, Ray tries to ask the prison doctor for help, but he refuses to do so. Instead, he sneaks out a cardboard paper to use it as a makeshift sextant and determine the ship's latitude. They will have to be on the
200
top
IQ,
of the
I guess.
deck to make the sextant work. So, Ray and Emil ask a Muslim inmate, Javed Afridi, to help them with the plan. Later, Javed offers to be the warden's spy. In turn, he asks the warden to let him pray to Allah in the open air. Not knowing his true intentions, the warden agrees and lets him go outside. Afridi then uses the sextant and figures out the latitude of the ship. Using this information, Ray deduces that they are in the Atlantic Ocean near Morocco. He and Emil are still not sure about the location, but they have to think of a plan soon. Emil says that he has a friend in Morocco who owes him big time, because of course he does. If they somehow get a message to him, he and his group will surely come to save them. Ray again meets the prison doctor and persuades him to help them this time. Later at night, the doctor sends Emil's friend an email, giving him their location. It is finally the day they execute the plan. At first, Afridi gives the warden fake information about a riot about to happen in the block. The warden sends all his guards to the block, leaving the Babylon area with only 2 of them. Ray sees the right time and starts a riot in the Babylon area. Soon, everyone starts fighting in the place, and Ray, Emil, and Afridi take the opportunity to run to the top of the deck. The warden notices this and initiates a lockdown in the cargo. Before the 3 can reach the top, the doors are shut because of the lockdown. At the same time, Emil's men also arrive in their helicopters to save them. But inside the ship, the guards and the group get into a shootout. Afridi gets shot in the process and cannot move anymore. Ray quickly thinks of a plan, an escape plan, and asks Emil to stay with Afridi while he goes to the control room to cut the power. This way, the doors to the top of the deck can reopen. After he leaves, Afridi asks Emil to leave without him because he knows he is too injured to make it out alive. Emil reluctantly does what the man says. Sometime later, the guards get to Afridi and kill him. But at the same time, Ray manages to shut the power down, helping Emil get on top of the deck. Emil runs to the helicopter, which is being shot at by the guards. Soon, he and his friends retaliate while waiting for Ray to come out. Ray, however, is stuck inside the ship in a tank. The guards are looking for him everywhere, so instead of getting out, he flushes himself into the sea. Emil's helicopter takes off, and he sees Ray struggling in the water. To help him, he throws the helicopter's ladder below. Ray latches onto the ladder and fires at the oil tanks on the ship. This causes an explosion that kills the warden and his men. At last, the 2 safely fly away in the helicopter and land on the Moroccan coast. A car comes to pick them up, and to Ray's surprise, Jessica, the woman who had offered him the job in the prison, steps out of it. He is even more baffled when Emil says she is his daughter. It is then revealed that Emil is actually Mannheim, who everyone thought was his boss. He had lied about his identity so his enemies wouldn't kill him. Jessica knew her father was in prison, so she had to get Ray imprisoned to get him out. Before leaving, Jessica tells Ray that his business partner, Lester, got involved with the prison warden and demanded they keep Ray forever, so he was in fact betraying him. In the following scene, we see Ray and Abigail together. Abigail informs him that Lester was offered a job as CEO of the prison if the prototype Ray was staying in proved to be inescapable. After learning that Ray has escaped, Lester packs his bags to flee, but Hush and Abigail track him down and put Ray's revenge plan into action. Then, we see Lester being attacked by Hush in a car. When the man wakes up, he finds himself still inside the car, but his car turns out to be in a massive cargo ship, traveling to an unknown destination. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.
50 Cent did it. You wanna watch one more, chat? We'll do one more tonight. Not a long one tonight, we'll do one more, at least. Let's see if we can find a scary one. That one wasn't too bad. Returning to Earth after 1,000 years. Is this the Jaden Smith movie? I feel like this is gonna be bad. In 1090-21, humans have conquered... Is this Dune? Oh, it's actually Dune. I'm not watching that. Hitler wakes up to find himself in the 21st century. There's no way this is going to be a good
a German... As the tour goes on...
Nah, I'm not gonna watch the Hitler movie, dude. No way. Let's see what we got here. Which one should we watch? The Jaden Smith movie is good. You guys want to watch that one, really? I even allowed on Twitch? Sure. It's like chat a little bit iffy, you know? I mean, this one is probably fine, but it's comedy. Yeah, but comedy in this doesn't translate very well, right? Maybe. We can watch the Jaden Smith one.
Hi, mystery.
I'm feeling a bit iffy about watching it. But is there any horror movie? Wait, maybe we have a horror recap. Ah, fuck horror movie. I want to sleep tonight.
Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain the American
Maybe we'll watch the other one after.
post-apocalyptic
We'll watch this one
action
first.
film called After Earth.
I have not seen
Spoilers
this one because
ahead.
everyone said this one was
Watch out,
trash. So
and
now I
take
get to
care.
see it.
The premise of the movie is set far in the future, when the Earth has become uninhabitable. Humans
Classic.
have to find another planet to settle on. That is when the organization called the United Ranger Corps is founded. The United Ranger Corps is a global military effort in the evacuation of Earth. The Rangers lead the settlement of mankind's new home, called Nova Prime. The exodus ends when humanity settles on a new pristine planet they call Nova Prime. The only problem is that the planet already has beings living on it. The natives of Nova Prime release monstrous creatures called the Ursas to get rid of the human
Ursas?
settlers. The Ursas are technically blind, but they can detect humans by sensing the pheromones that the human brain releases when they are scared. The creatures can literally smell fear in
Just don't be
humans
scared.
and attack. Because of them, humankind is again in danger of extinction. 1,000 years later, the Rangers who had helped humans to evacuate the Earth find a way to defeat the Ursas. The Prime Commander, Cypher Rage, creates a technique called ghosting, where he can fearlessly battle with the Ursas, making himself practically invisible to them.
Yeah, see,
Using
he
this
did it.
technique, the Rangers defeat
don't be
the
scared.
Ursas and live on Nova Prime peacefully. The scene cuts to some teenagers training to become Rangers in the human settlement of Nova Prime. One of the ambitious teens is Commander Cypher's son, Kitai. Kitai's elder sister, Senshi, was killed while trying to save him from an Ursa, so he trains hard every day to become a Ranger and fight back. On the evaluation day, the evaluator, Commander, tells Kitai that his test scores are impressive, but his field activity is average. Hence, he is not selected as a Ranger.
Damn.
Kitai retaliates, but Commander dismisses the conversation. In the following scene, we see the Prime Commander Cypher finally arrive home after his expedition to another planet. He meets his wife, Fea, and greets her. At night, the family is having dinner when Cypher asks Kitai about his training. Kitai replies that he hasn't been selected, and Cypher simply asks him to try harder. Kitai rudely gets up from the
Try
table,
harder.
making Cypher yell at him to sit back down. After dinner, Cypher tells Fea that he is leaving for his last voyage to Iphitos to train some Rangers. He plans to retire after the trip. Fea asks him to take Kitai with him so he could learn how to be a Ranger. She vaguely reveals that Kitai blames himself for his elder sister Senshi's death. The following day, Cypher and Kitai prepare to leave for the expedition. Before they leave, Cypher is approached by a Ranger who has lost one of his legs in battle. The Ranger thanks Cypher for saving his life and gets on his foot to salute him. Kitai watches the commotion in fascination, admiring how the other Rangers respect his father. The Rangers are also lifting a captured Ursa in their ship to use in training. Everyone boards the spaceship and it finally takes off. Halfway through their trip, Cypher asks Kitai to strap in and take a rest like the others, but because of the uncomfortable seat, he doesn't fall asleep. So, he goes to a restricted area where the Ursa is kept. He is then stopped by a Ranger who makes fun of him for being intrusive. A group of Rangers allow him to go near the restrained Ursa to see if he is fearless like his father, but the Ursa smells Kitai's fear and growls. Just then, Cypher wakes up and checks the gravitational force in the ship using a technology fitted in his ring. He notices something is off and orders the Rangers to secure all cargo. Kitai goes back to his seat and straps himself in. Cypher then asks the pilot about the nearest asteroid shower. At first, the pilots do not
200
detect
IQ
one,
again?
but as time passes by, they notice a heavy asteroid shower coming their way. It hits the ship, making it shake aggressively and causing some serious damage. The Rangers start to panic, and the only one strapped in is Kitai. He hyperventilates, scared of what is about to happen. Cypher orders the pilots to travel to the wormhole, and they finally reach outside the asteroid shower. However, the ship is heavily damaged and cannot go on for a long time, so they will have to land on the nearest planet suitable for humans.
Oh,
While
that's
searching
sweet
for such a
copy.
planet, the pilot comes across the Earth. Cypher is skeptical about landing on their old home because the Earth has become a Class 1 quarantined planet after the humans' departure, but has no other way out. As the ship falls on the Earth's surface at an uncomfortable speed, Cypher approaches his son and calms him down. Kitai gets visions of the time they were attacked by an Ursa and his sister Senshi was killed. Just then, the ship starts to break, causing everyone around Kitai to fall off of it. At last, Kitai falls unconscious and crash lands on the surface of the Earth. Humans have returned to the Earth after 1,000 years. After a while, he wakes up and looks around to find the dead bodies of fellow Rangers. He also sees his father lying limp on the ground
being
and
Will
hugs
Smith's
him.
son.
To Kitai's surprise, Cypher regains consciousness and greets him, but both of his legs are severely injured, making it impossible for him to stand up. Cypher asks him how many people survived, only to find out that everyone except for them is dead.
Where are your seatbelts,
Moreover,
boys?
the rear part of the ship is absent, meaning that the captured Ursa has landed somewhere else. Cypher believes that the creature might be dead from impact, but still asks Kitai to be careful. Cypher makes Kitai get an emergency beacon that can be used to send signals to a rescue group in Nova Prime, but they are disappointed to see that the beacon is fully damaged. Then, Kitai takes Cypher to the control panel, which is still working. From there, Cypher finds out the location of the second beacon that is in the tail section of the ship. A hologram shows that the second beacon has landed 100 kilometers away from their current location. Without the beacon, they will never be able to get back home, so they will have to retrieve it. But since Cypher is not in a condition to walk, Kitai will have to do it himself. Cypher warns him about the creatures of the Earth, who have evolved to kill humans in the past 1,000 years.
No way
The journey will not be easy for Kitai, but Cypher will be watching him and his trails from the control panel at all times. Cypher gives Kitai his weapon, a wrist communicator, and 6 capsules of a fluid that enhances the oxygen intake so he can breathe in Earth's low oxygen atmosphere. He asks Kitai to take the capsules in regular intervals and sets him off on his journey. Beginning his journey, Kitai climbs a sloppy hill and reaches the top. There, he is fascinated to see several lives on the Earth. The Earth now has violent thermal shifts, because of which the nights are too cold to handle. Hence, Cypher advises Kitai to reach the hot spots caused by the geothermal energy every night to keep himself warm. After that, Cypher checks the condition of his legs and sees that, yep, they are still damaged.
Yep.
He takes a painkiller for the moment, which makes him go hazy. Jaden's out in the woods getting stalked by advanced human killers, and Will's just getting high on a spaceship. By midday, Kitai reaches a forest when Cypher notices a creature approaching him on the monitor. He informs Kitai of the creature and asks him to stay put. The animal turns out to be an evolved, violent monkey, so
Monkeys.
a human. Kitai gets scared and throws a rock at the animal, attracting a whole group of monkeys who
Great
chase
idea.
him. A worried Cypher gives him the directions as Kitai runs for his life.
Piss the
The
monkey
monkeys
off.
leave him after he jumps into a river. Kitai finally stops running and finds a poisonous leech stuck to him. He hurriedly
shit.
removes the parasite, but the creature has already left its venom in
GG.
his body. Kitai starts to lose his vision and his body stops moving. Cypher orders him to get an antidote from his medical kit. Kitai injects the dose and falls unconscious soon after. After a while, Cypher wakes Kitai up, saying that the temperature is dropping rapidly as night approaches. He will have to get to a hotspot quickly if he doesn't want to freeze to death. Kitai wakes up, completely healed from the leech's poison, and makes his way forward. Meanwhile, Cypher performs a makeshift surgery on his legs to make them better, but he knows that he doesn't have much time left. At that moment, he reminisces about the time he wished his daughter a happy birthday before her death. A while later, Kitai finally arrives at the first hotspot. He checks his equipment for the day and sees that 2 capsules of liquid that enhance his oxygen level are destroyed. This means that he will have to reach his destination sooner. Knowing that Cypher will ask him to return if he finds out about the broken vials, Kitai lies, saying everything is intact. Kitai has yet to make a good decision in this movie. At night, Kitai asks Cypher how he discovered the
He has to
ghosting
make a good
technique for the
decision.
first time. Cypher tells him that he was going on a run when an Ursa appeared right in front of him. A scared Cypher froze, and the Ursa shot its pincer right through Cypher's shoulder, making the both of them fall into a river off the cliff. At the bottom of the river, the Ursa remained on top of Cypher, trying to drown him. At that moment, Cypher accepted his death and wasn't scared anymore. Because of this, the Ursa couldn't see him, and he was able to kill it. So it took humankind 1,000 years just to realize that the trick is to not be scared. Kitai falls
be scared,
asleep listening to the story. The following day, he continues his journey. Halfway through the day, Cypher starts to notice hints of the presence of Ursa in the area. Kitai reaches a tall waterfall, which he will have to cross to reach the destination. Cypher asks him to check his supplies, and is disappointed to see that he has only 2 vials of liquid oxygen left. Unembarrassed, Kitai says he can make it to the tail with just 2, but Cypher asks him to abort the mission. Right then, Kitai gets a flashback of the day Senshi died. An Ursa had attacked their home, and like always, Cypher was on a mission somewhere else. To save her brother's life, Senshi had kept him inside a glass sphere, from where the Ursa couldn't smell his fear. That day, Kitai witnessed his sister getting killed in front of him, and to this date, he blames himself for it. Back in the present, Kitai argues with Cypher, claiming that he is not a coward. Cypher tries to calm him down, but in the moment of rage, Kitai jumps off the cliff. He uses his suit to guide the direction of his fall. Just when he thinks that he can make it to the bottom, a large bird attacks him and breaks his communicator. Now, Cypher has no way to contact Kitai. A while later, Kitai wakes up in the bird's nest, surrounded by its chicks. Before he can get out, all of them are attacked by a group of panthers. The mother bird fights the one on the top of the nest, while Kitai fights a panther inside of it. By the end of the fight, all of the bird's chicks are dead. As it tries to revive them in frustration, treating Kitai to fresh trauma, Kitai runs away from the place. Meanwhile, Cypher tries to look for Kitai through his satellite monitors, but instead finds 2 rangers impaled to a tree. The system detects the presence of an Ursa in the area. Oblivious of this, Kitai takes rest in a cave for the night. Without his father navigating the way, he has to rely on his memory to reach the tail of the ship. He draws a map on the wall and decides to follow it. Good thing Kitai didn't grow up relying on Google Maps, or he'd be screwed. The next morning, he continues the journey, but is troubled by the same bird, following him everywhere. At midday, he has a hard time breathing, so he takes his last vial of oxygen. Then, to reach the tail sooner, he builds a raft from logs and continues his journey. After some time, Kitai falls asleep and dreams of his sister telling him he is close to the destination. He wakes up right before the temperature fluctuation starts and goes around looking for a hotspot. However, without Cypher's help, he is unable to find one. The temperature drops extremely low, and everything around him freezes. Soon, Kitai drops unconscious on the ground, and we see something drag him to a warm, safe corner. Kitai wakes up the following morning to see that the bird has saved his life. It had covered him with leaves and twigs, treating him as his chicks. Kitai thanks the bird, but notices it is already dead. More trauma for Kitai. However, with no time to waste, he moves forward and finally finds the tail of the ship. He finds a vial of liquid oxygen and quickly takes it, which rejuvenates him to some extent. Then, he sees that the Ursa is missing from where it is supposed to be. Kitai gets the beacon and contacts Cypher using the panel in the tail. Cypher, who is only somewhat conscious and probably high again, is delighted to see his son alive. However, Kitai cannot hear him because of some technical issue. Kitai then tries using the beacon, but it doesn't work due to atmospheric interference. Cypher asks him to try from a different location, but since Kitai cannot hear him, he only gets more frustrated. But after a while, Kitai sees a volcano nearby and decides to try using the beacon from the top of it. However, trouble soon follows when the lost Ursa tracks Kitai and senses his fear. Cypher sees this from the monitor and is worried for him. Kitai, on the other hand, finds out that the creature is following him and starts to run. The Ursa attacks Kitai, but he manages to save himself after jumping into a body of water and going up the mountain. Just then, the temperature starts to lower, which freezes Kitai, making him fall to the ground. At the same time, Cypher also falls unconscious because of his injuries. The Ursa approaches Kitai as he thinks of his father's words. He remembers that fear is not real, and it's all only in his head, and he goes full Chad mode. Just then, the creature walks right past Kitai, unable to detect him. He has removed fear from his mind and is now able to ghost the creature, just like my Tinder dates ghost me.
What was I supposed to do?
Using his newfound courage, Kitai kills the creature easily. He then uses the beacon to send signals to their rescue team. In the next scene, Kitai is on a rescue ship. He walks forward as everyone watches him in appreciation. Cypher lies on a bed, being treated for his injuries. After seeing his son, he makes the Rangers stand him up and salutes Kitai in a true Ranger fashion. The movie ends after the father and the son hug, and the ship takes off for Nova Prime. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.
The plot was a fucking mess, dude. Now I understand why people recommended me not to watch this movie. But I still enjoyed it, you know? It was fun with chat at least. Otherwise it would have sucked. Alright. I think that's gonna be it for me tonight, guys. A little bit shorter stream, I know. But can start a little bit earlier and do a longer stream tomorrow, maybe. We'll see what happens. Hope you guys had fun today. Pretty successful day. 4 and 2. I'm done for tonight. I'm gonna go eat and chill. I'm really hungry. Alright. Take it easy, boys. Love you, boys, as always. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.